Alrighty, looks like we're good to go. Doing a quick technical check, guys, making sure we're all good to go. Real quick. Hope you guys are all doing well. Had a great week so far. You guys had a great weekend. New month, right into August. Man, it's flying by. Already halfway through the year. Awesome, cool. Alrighty, guys, we are good to go. First off, welcome back to MTV TA, guys. I'm your guys' host, Trent Manager. Really glad to have you guys here. Thank you all my returning patrons, and thank you all my new patrons and viewers who are stopping by. Really glad to have you guys here. Thanks so much. So first off, guys, you guys already know we just got to go through some housekeeping real quick, kind of just go over what we're going to cover today, and as long with some other topics as well. So we're going to be covering some EIP news as the 5th is coming up here. One of the biggest mergers and forks that we've been talking about here for the Ethereum network, I think, over the entire ecosystem. By far, this is by far the most important update that we're going to cover. Posted yesterday in the Patreon about some play to earn crypto games. It's kind of coming big in the space in terms of customers not being the sole product. So customers really getting back into the stance of being able to play to earn. So you use products that you already use, and now you can start earning passive income on those, and for utilizing those projects, which is really great to see. I truly think every big enterprise should have some sort of play to earn system, but the blockchain has implemented that in a lot of projects. So that's super awesome. Basically getting paid to play some video games, which is pretty sick. Square customers buy 2.7 billion worth of Bitcoin in Q2. Another good article that we're going to cover here, kind of just going over some metrics, kind of see how the sentiment has been changing in terms of people really waking up and coming in and really kind of feeling the water that kind of what we've been talking about these past couple months. As well, we're going to be covering Wells Fargo and other Bitcoin and crypto exposure for wealthy clients. We don't like Wells Fargo in here. Wells Fargo is awful. Like I said, guys, if any of you guys use Wells Fargo, please comment below why and 3 reasons as to how they have benefited your life, please. We're going to be going over them, but it's also good to see these big banks and enterprises really coming in here and not only being able to expose them for their clients, but that also is in the background, at least for me, coming from a standpoint of work, they're definitely doing some works behind in terms of getting their system set up and hiring developers and so on, just like we've seen with a lot of these other banks. And also, we're going to be covering some China news also, covering some China digital yuan as they are the digital yuan is up and running, and I believe it's all up and running, and it's completely susceptible, for the public. So that's going to be very interesting to cover. We got a short video on that. We won't watch the whole thing because it's a bit long, but we're going to be going over kind of China's rise in terms of how they've been dominating this technology and their already existing infrastructure. So awesome, guys. Also going into the Patreon as well. For those who missed it, let's just kind of go through real quick. Lowest tier is $3, guys, for all our new patrons. So you get per tier. You'll get. Let's go to the public page so I can show you guys that. Here all the levels right here. Lowest is 3, highest is 12. Of course, you get different features per tier. But I posted just this week. It's a new week, so I just posted twice. I posted yesterday. So we talked about 12 Realty made $160,000 off selling NFTs. Pretty crazy, actually. Read that whole story. Just kind of shows the possibilities and all the outlooks that you have in this space. Anything is possible. Also posted some crypto games to take a look at if there's any that interest you. Play to earn is very, very big. I haven't done some of those on that list, but I have done some NFT kind of short survey answers, and I've gotten some free airdrops and some small NFTs, and also some airdrops of tokens that have actually turned out to be pretty valuable. I just held them and they climbed in price. So there's a lot of opportunity, guys. So these two I thought would be really good for some fun. It's not always has to be serious here. So I thought that'd be good for you guys. Awesome. So cool. Awesome, guys. Let's hop right into it. So first off, we're gonna start with Ethereum. What is EIP 1559? So if you've kind of been here for a while, this is something that we've covered time and time again. We've been anticipating this for a while, and it's really finally here this week. So we're kind of going to go lightly through the article. I have some other in-depth Ethereum videos as well on my channel if you'd like to scroll through there. But we're going to really covering the basics and kind of overall what this is going to do for the ecosystem moving forward. So EIP 1559 changes the market fee mechanisms for fundamentally EIP. Rigs the practices of auction, the main calculation fee of auctions, and people bid. So as you guys know, if you've used Ethereum, you do have your gas fees. So what we are going to be doing with this merger, as we are going from proof of work to proof of stake, so therefore we are eliminating miners from the picture in terms of how we are running the ecosystem. So moving to a proof of stake ecosystem. You can see here with this graphic here, which is really nice. We take away the base, we burn the base fee. The tip as well is going to be as well. It sees now, it's going to the miner now, but you can see the individual and protocol both on both sides. So we are burning the base fee and also the tipping, so it's going to be kind of X'd out in the way, so the miner should not be here. But in terms of how this is going to make Ethereum a more hard money sound asset is that at peak loads, when the Ethereum network is at peak loads, the Ethereum will be burned per transaction. So therefore making it more of an incentive to hold your Ethereum, and also the incentive of, the mechanism of us moving from a proof of stake mechanism. So therefore we are not minting new coins by the mining algorithms of GPUs, but therefore the validators and the stakeholders will therefore be validating transactions. So I know that sounds a little bit confusing. I know for a lot of you new guys that may not have come off very clear, but stay with me and we'll go through further. And please do, if curious, please go back and check out my other videos and do some own researches yourself, because I know this is very, very confusing stuff. It may not make sense right off the bat. Then we got some overall questions from people. Will this make gas fees cheaper? That was a big thing at the beginning, that people anticipated that gas fees would be going down a ton with the use of EIP 559. That won't be the exact case. As it says here, as a side effect, a more predictable base fee, EIP 1559 may lead to reductions in gas prices if assumed that the fee is predictable. Means users will overlay for gas that frequently is implemented with 1559 base fee. So all that really means that it is more predictable network. So you would, of course, be using the network as usual, and it would be kind of a more predictable. So you can see when the network load is very high, and that's kind of transacted through gas fees. So you can see higher the gas fee, the more utilization is kind of being used on the network. So how this will change user experience when sending transaction fee? Does the user need to be a transaction fee? If so, how? I'm not going to go through all these because these are a ton of questions, guys. But I just wanted to kind of go overview and kind of just show you, where we are in schedule for the merger. The mainnet's supposed to be set for August 5th. We've already passed the Rinky-B testnet and all these other testnets. So we're looking pretty solid. There were no major errors and critical errors from what I saw from the developer meeting, and if there was, then we would have known about it. So this is just more for developer stuff, getting things integrated with validators, but and also continues kind of with some more questions. But the overview with this moving forward is this is positive. We've been anticipating this. This is by far one of the biggest updates in terms of Ethereum, number one, and I guess overall in terms of any project, this is a very, very big merge, moving from proof of work to proof of stake. So this may be a buy the rumor, sell the news type deal. There's people that are anticipating the price action of Ethereum to move pretty heavy off this news, and of course, kind of soar higher. Of course, that cannot always be the case at first. It may be people anticipating the hype, and when the hype does come, people may be selling off their positions, people who got in earlier, in Ethereum in the earlier days. So just kind of something to keep in mind. And moving forward on the next article, we're going to be covering again the Square customers influx for quarter two. But thumbs up, we'll be covering Ethereum more. We probably might do a live stream on that, kind of just when that merger does happen live. But awesome. So moving on to Square, customer buys $2.72 billion worth of Bitcoin in Q2. So Square released their quarterly earnings for what made up their crypto revenue from last year, up 143% year over year. Gross profit about $1.4 billion. That's pretty insane. If you just remember the market sentiment of how we just were, like 6.5, even just 3 months ago, it's very, very, it's impressive to see how quickly, the sentiment has changed around this space. It's still very skeptical to some, but you can see in terms of what we say here is, we follow the money, we don't follow the talk. Words are very hollow in this space. You can hear things people are doing and what they're going to do, but until the money is really put into play, it's very hard to really get behind somebody. But this is something that you can get behind because we are seeing actual numbers. So our ecosystem continues to be our ecosystem continues to be different as we find that customers who are trading stocks are holding them in their portfolio have engaged more and more with other producers such as Cash, Cards, or Bitcoin, and have generated greater gross profits per customer. So good to hear. It's good to hear that most of their customers aren't losing money. So, people who come in here are sitting, buying, and holding are, doing well in the long term, which is something that we talk about often as well, which is super great. Square has continued to roll out Bitcoin purchases, features such as customer orders, which allow specific prices at buy or sell Bitcoin, or other recent improvements include ability to choose of the 3 sats per byte fees on Bitcoin withdrawals. So that kind of just goes for the withdrawals and sending. Bitcoin transactions are pretty cheap anyway, so you can send like $25 million for like a fee of like $200. So pretty impressive. Wire transfers versus wire transfers. That's a completely different story. You got to go to the bank, go to location, wait for the wire transfer to settle, and then of course a fatty fee on top of that wire transfer. I'm not sure how many of you guys have done wire transfers, but they're not fun. They're really bad. They're pretty terrible. But great thing to see. This is about August 2nd, so we'll be looking forward to Q3, and I do anticipate this to keep climbing. So it's really great to see Square continue to add on to their existing infrastructure for crypto and other assets and things that can bring more traction to their platform. Not everyone, of course, is doing cryptocurrency purchases and being able to transact with it on that way. But the early adopters, such as Square and other individuals, are going to be set up for success pretty long term. You guys understand this is a long game, and if this is the channel you're looking for, like really crazy hype stuff, this really isn't it. We're here for more for fundamentals and keeping up with the news in terms of what's going on, because things do change very, very quickly. So also going on to our next article here, we're going to be going over the top 12 games and apps mining tools to earn cryptocurrency today. Just like we talked about at the beginning of the video, we have there plenty of apps, passive income apps that can bring you tokens, NFTs, and other things that can hold a value and be turned into real money. Heard plenty of stories and seen plenty of people getting airdrops. This is a kind of off topic, but when Uniswap had their IPO or their ICO, their initial coin offering, I was in the Uniswap ICO. I think I had to pay like $15 for like a small gas fee, and I got airdrops, all these Uniswap tokens. Of course, at the time, we took a risk on Uniswap that it would, be a good project and it would do what it's supposed to do, and it ended up doing what it's supposed to do. And people who got those airdrops and front running, people who front run those projects or front run those games, are usually set up the best in terms of a success to reward ratio, if that makes sense. So a couple, we got Rollercoin, Taco app, PHT tokens, Crypto Ideal Miner, Merge Cats, Swiss company app, and all these are not things these aren't tokens you have to buy. These are, it could be as simple as, I haven't used all these by the way, guys, but just to give you in terms of a more of an outlook as to what's here and what you can achieve, and all the great little, I wouldn't even say loopholes, but all the small little activities you can do here for making any sorts of passive income are very, very much available. So all these can go from you can answer questions. I know Coinbase has that where you go in there and answer questions of new projects, and they reward you for a couple dollars in that cryptocurrency, and you can swap that to whatever cryptocurrency you want. You can not only just answer questions, you can do forum posts, you can do games, simply just playing the game will reward you with cryptocurrency or NFTs, and some of those may be very, very valuable. So it's in terms of really thinking a broad picture, in a sense. You already play Call of Duty, you already play Halo, you already play all these games in these sense. How much more of an incentive would it be for you to play that game if they rewarded you with real currency? So let's say you play Call of Duty 8 hours a day, and then they reward you with $15 for that day. You logged in for 8 hours, they give you 15, or maybe even more. That was just a low estimate in case they're, I don't want to give the false hope that they're paying you like a full salary to play these games, but some people are, some people are really taking this to the extent in terms of making a real living off this. And, I read stories about it quite often. So there are things that are available here. And this is something that I like to kind of open up the spectrum and doors that there really is a ton of opportunity out there everywhere. Not only just in serious fields, but even fields like these, there are still opportunity. So also moving over to our Wells Fargo, now offering crypto and Bitcoin exposure to their wealthy clients. So we do not like Wells Fargo, but of course they're still big money and part of the game. So really they just go through in terms of, I think wealthy clients, I think that just means I think you bank with them more than, I want to say like $1 million, $2 million, I want to say. So like, that's what I want to say. I could be wrong. I could be very wrong on that. But moving forward, the anticipation for this was very, very needed for a lot of their clients. A lot of these guys, the reason they do add these is because their clients are asking. You have people saying, hey, keep hearing about this Bitcoin stuff, and hearing about the cryptocurrency stuff and blockchain. I would like a piece of the pie. You got, you're a very successful older guy. You keep hearing about this, you keep hearing about it. Either your secretary comes to your desk, or you just keep reading about it, and you really want to slice of that pie. You're going to go to your main bank, and you're going to ask them, hey, I'd like to rebalance some portfolios. I'd like to add some exposure to this sector, and and so on. And banks doing this is a very, very firm request from their higher up clients, and that's something not only for them in terms of holding on their balance sheet, which some banks do. Not sure about Wells Fargo right now, but usually they roll it out to their customers first. And honestly, these guys don't have to tell you. I think it's per quarter. I think they have to tell you how much they have in their balance sheet, but that doesn't have to come around until quarterly earnings. So if they started accumulating now, or they started accumulating a couple months ago, I believe they might have missed the cutoff in terms of what they legally have to tell you. So there are a lot of institutional enterprises in terms of loopholes that can not tell you all their business, and that's for competition reasons, other banks and other people who are trying to, of course, achieve the same thing. So but really moving forward, where I see Wells Fargo with this just means more adoption for us. It's just good to see. This is, if you would have said this months ago, last year, people would call you crazy. This just isn't, it awes me a lot of the time that just shortly a while ago, people were didn't want anything to do with this in terms of anything. No equity, no purpose, scam, Ponzi, whatever you want to call it. It's still being said today, but follow the money. That's exactly what we say. So high net worth individuals for Wells Fargo can now get Bitcoin and crypto exposure, and a company spokesman for Business Insider, making Wells Fargo the latest in the long line of traditional conservative financial institutions to venture into Bitcoin. So there are a couple of them, and I guess we're glad to have Wells Fargo on the train, I guess. So, but no worries at all. Awesome. And as well, guys, definitely want to go over that China is 6 years ahead of us building blockchain payment systems. The CEO said this was from August 2nd. So this is actually so funny. I'm gonna get like kind of personal on a work note. So if I work with this technology daily, I'm a smart contract and blockchain developer. So in terms of this, and really what that means is mainly, and I'm going to give you a pretty 30-second overview of what my job is. It's a lot of education, teaching, and upgrades. So what I mean by that, I'm going to explain that. So in terms of teaching, that could just mean education is our biggest barrier to entry, not only on the development side, but understanding the technology side. So basic knowledge, blockchain, cryptocurrencies, and of course, when you start venturing the developer side, where you start getting how to connect these to existing infrastructure, that's where things can get very dicey for people, and that's where people can start to get very, very crazy. And the one thing I try to reiterate to myself is that not everyone needs to know the ins and outs of the development side. The ones who want to come and build the products for the companies and build the products and understand it on that deep of a level, being able to express it and talk to others and educate others on that topic is a whole different field than just understanding the basics and understanding that hey, this is a project. I believe in the project. I believe it will go up over the long term. Good investment, and then of course I will cash out in a couple of years. Versus some of us who work here, we love this so much that we would devote our time, our resources, and our education to doing this full time to of course share this information as we continue to move forward. In the our 2020s, so all the way through 2030. So really where I came from that, it was funny that we had talked about this in one of our meetings, that we had talked about how China's majority of their college students and their students over there are STEM majors, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. So in terms of where that comes into play versus us, and you kind of take China, us, I guess not to get too crazy, not even off topic, but yes, we have China and their bans of cryptocurrencies and other things that they're doing over in their country, but we can't forget about the digital yuan that they've constructed and all the businesses and enterprises that continue to utilize blockchain and hyperledger in their companies for supply chain management, tracking of goods and services, and overall database construction. We can't also forget about the continued push, for their cultural STEM and their overall integration for how the next generation of individuals coming up and learning technology. From a developer standpoint, we are very, very far behind in the United States in terms of getting this together and already integrating this in our continued enterprises here in the States, such as we got Costco, IBM, Intel, tons of enterprises here that are utilized internationally that have not been upgraded in terms of this technology for a shippable product. So really why I wanted to bring this up and why I thought this was important, to show that not to persuade you to come work in blockchain, but just to show you that it's a very low saturated space. It's very rare that we find individuals, and this is coming from a recruiter and recruited, that someone is going to have 3 years Solidity experience or 4 years in blockchain. So for example, Ethereum came out in 2016. 4 years of Solidity experience, and to even put this in a greater perspective, we didn't have decentralized finance last year or 2 years ago. A lot of those protocols and projects had been developed in our bear market and had been officially kind of bug fixed and shipped for this market. So if you were to go back 2 years, there would be no DeFi specialization in terms of that. And the way things change connection-wise have changed a ton in terms of scalability, utilization, traffic and liquidity, and so on. So really what I wanted to get out of this is that the U.S. is far behind. We need to get our laws and regulations in play, but we're getting our stuff kicked out here. They literally even said IBM back here. Yep, literally just like we talked about. And IBM's been using it, but in terms of, as a whole of how we are as a country, we are very, very far behind. I can definitely assure you that. So if you like working in blockchain, you like this stuff, we'd love to have you. Seriously, there's plenty of them. You guys know I post those crypto jobs quite often, so definitely wanted to get that out there for you guys, and hope you guys maybe venture over in this space for some learning. But you guys are already here, so I mean, maybe you guys can become developers with me. That'd be great. I'd love to have some of you guys. I did have one guy actually. I did have one dude. I'll have to reach out to him. I don't know if he ever did fully go into it, but he did. He was taking some certification courses for blockchain development. So super cool, super cool. So let's hop over into our Bitcoin charts. Let's see how we're doing on the technicals. We had we had a couple green daily candle closes. I know I'm on BitBay. I don't know if this is like the best terms because every exchange's got different liquidity action, but I do know, remember that we had a couple green candles in a row. I know it doesn't show here just because I think I'm on a different exchange. Different exchanges got different liquidity. You guys may not know that, but sometimes things can be kind of skewed. But I do know we had a couple in a row. We had 4 green candle closes in a row right here, which is great to see. Where I am, I just bring the. I honestly I don't know why I cover the charts often in here so much because I'm a long-term player, but it's good to see. I've had this chart up for a while, like it just never changes. I keep the same bars, the same resistance bars that we've had since we really started breaking down. But where I think we're sitting right now, we had 5 or 6 daily green candle closes in a row. Phenomenal action moving forward. Nothing wrong with a little jumble at the top. We've continued to test this 42, this 39 to 42 level. Actually, no, I'm sorry. This 39 to 42 level has been tested a ton. We've seen it here. 1, 2. This is in daily. 3, 4. I mean, all these pretty much count as well. I'm just kind of grouping them together. 5. Like a ton, guys. Like a lot here. Even here, we kind of peaked out a little bit there. But this just kind of shows that, I mean, this floor is getting rammed, and it will flip into resistance, or it will flip into support once again. And I believe that is coming sooner than we know. We're here not for the daily, not for the weekly, we're here for the yearly. But I always like to kind of come on here and see just how we're doing. And I think we're sitting just fine. This is something we just gotta. We knew this wasn't gonna be easy path, kind of climbing back up to the top. But we are continuing to do it, and that's exactly what we're gonna keep doing. So as well, I'm not gonna play this whole thing, but could China defund the US dollar with their digital yuan? This is a really good watch. Definitely would encourage you guys to watch this, along with any Bloomberg quick takes. Like those Bloomberg quick takes are amazing. Like they do a really great job. Like I'm a big fan of those. I'll sit here and watch those like all day, like seriously. But some people don't like, some people didn't like it, but it is what it is, whatever. Some comments were not so nice and some were nice. You guys know how online goes. But other than that, guys, that was a really quick run through for today. In terms of the news and what I thought was important for you guys to keep up to date with. As we continue to navigate through August, as we continue to kind of go through the new year, or I'm sorry, not the new year, as we continue to make our halfway point and continue to December. Not worried. We're still looking great. I'm still firm on my prediction. I believe 100K is still in the cards this year. We know that as we continue to move closer to December time and towards the new year, we know things can get a little bit dicey and a little bit crazy, euphoric around those type of times. We do know that from November till about December, January, that's where we see a lot of action going on. And that's happened historically, tons of times. Last Christmas, last cycle, a lot of history repeats. History doesn't always repeat itself exactly, but it rhymes very often. You guys know we say that a ton. But that is something to keep in mind. So continue to stay patient, continue to stay educated. That's continuing what I stay to do. My game plan hasn't changed. We continue to watch the markets week by week, and I will see you guys on Thursday. Any questions, concerns, of course, please drop any comments, likes, share this with friends or family, anyone who needs it. But I will see you guys on Thursday, possibly beforehand. We got some videos in the works, still working on some coding implementations. Really what's going to work best for us. I know there were some issues with the coding live stream was a questionable one for, are we going to keep the same time and just make it the same time in terms of making our project, or are we going to do pre-recorded renders of videos? Or I'm getting some feedback from you guys in terms of how we're going to govern this. But thank you guys so much for all your feedback and everything that's going to work out best. Because honestly, it really is for you guys. I want to make sure this isn't like interfering with your schedule and making this harder for you guys, because it's not harder on me, because I can be from home. I know you guys not let you guys work from home either. So, but other than that, guys, thanks so much. I really appreciate it. Have a great rest of your week. I'll see you guys on Thursday, if not before. Stay safe now, please, and I will see you